anyone who's listened to this podcast or has heard me talk at all about other coaches knows that I have a very strong bullshit meter, and I can't stand a lot of these people. And I was talking to this guy who's a coach, and he's like, yeah, I'm ICF credited. And I'm like, great. So because somebody decided to say I am the ICF does not mean a damn thing. Your ICF certification means dick to me, by the way.
I think Vin, after this podcast, is ready to have a conversation with Shane on how to take him to the next level of coaching. I mean, we'll just combine it in with I was going to say the washing machines,
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And today I have the reins back because we took a short reprieve. Shane wanted to hold the reins. He drove the buggy, and he said it wasn't that great. So we're back. We're here. We're in the saddle today. Today, I just realized we don't actually have a fun topic. We don't have something to make the viewers laugh, but
we'll
maybe
slide it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Did I say I'm your host, Vin, and he is?
Yeah, you did. And I'm Shane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, very good.
I got a fun one, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Hotdogs?
No, never. No, I will never eat a hot dog, so obviously
I don't eat hot dogs anymore. I used to eat hot dogs until I actually found out what's in them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a very any sociopath that's out there that still enjoys hot dogs.
My wife likes the hot dogs, but they have to be the specific kosher, all beef links. I'm like, I guess that's a little bit better.
That's not a hot dog. That's a sausage in disguise.
The kosher ones?
It's an all beef.
They call it
maybe it's not.
Yeah, they call it a hot dog.
Huh. Wait a second. No, that's not. That's a weird. No. Isn't a hot dog supposed to be pork, or am I incorrect?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking of sausage.
And to be honest, sausage can be anything nowadays. You see the chicken sausage.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lamb sausage. And it's pretty much just the casing. As long as it has that casing of sausage, you can call it sausage.
Huh. What else could we make into a sausage? Ostrich sausage?
That would be a fun show, but you don't really know how to make sausage. So
my toxic trait is that if I see something once, I think I can do it, but I'm usually not capable of it.
Well, I made sausage a couple of times in culinary school, and I definitely remember getting different meats for the grinder and then putting the casing on there and actually having to case it out and grip it with your fingers at a certain point to make it.
Yeah.
With a little flip. That's all you do. You do a little flip, pop it out, get another one in there, flip, pop it out.
Yeah. See, I've seen that on TV, so I could definitely do that.
It's actually not that hard.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so my toxic trait was positive trait at this time.
I mean, this has nothing to do with hot dogs or brats. But anyways, there's your fun topic. Your little 2 minutes of how to make sausage, and neither of us like hot dogs. So there you go.
Yeah, I refuse to eat hot dogs. I would rather slap it out of someone's hand than ever eat one.
So hot dog or pineapple pizza. If you had to choose, you're starving, hungry, these are the only two options, or you go hungry and die.
I'd rather die.
Oh,
I'd rather just end it all than be living in this hell that I'm surrounded by hot dogs and pineapple pizza. This isn't a reality I want to exist in.
Oh man, you're ridiculous.
I know you would choose pineapple pizza, so it's not an issue for you.
Pineapple, as long as there's ham on it, yeah.
That's, you know what? No, you don't get ham. No ham for you. You will have pineapple.
I choose the hot dog. Just give me the hot dog.
Now it's too easy because I know you like it.
Do I at least get mustard?
No. Why would you get mustard? I don't want this to be enjoyable for you.
So it's just dirty old hot dog water hot dogs.
That's right. It's one of them New York hot dogs.
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's the best topic of the day, honestly. I don't even think we should do the other one.
And that's it. We're out of here.
Bye, folks. No. So today it's kind of also going to be a little bit more whimsical because we're going to talk about I guess myths in the industry. Like yours is definitely a myth in the industry that you're going to jump into. I think mine. How about this?
Do for sure.
Today's episodes are myths in the industry and really stupid things in the industry. Let's do both, because I think mine is just really stupid things. Yours are myths, and I'm sure there might be some really stupid things for you, but we'll figure it out. We'll hash through it. I don't want to set unrealistic expectations for the listeners.
So what Vin's referring to as far as mine is I own a virtual assistant company. If this is your first podcast ever, I own a company called the VA Group. It's a virtual assistant service company where we offset your tedious day-to-day tasks by hiring a virtual assistant to do those tasks where you focus on the growth of the business or more free time, whatever it is that you want, where you delegate those things. Now, the biggest myth that we get, especially when it comes on, is, oh, I thought this was going to be a $5 an hour type of person. Now, since we source out to the Philippines, their labor is cheaper. It is. It's absolutely cheaper. But this is 2024. There is no such thing as a $5 virtual assistant anymore. And if you are paying $5 for a virtual assistant, let me say that, for an agency, let me clarify. If you are paying $5 an hour for a virtual assistant, you're underpaying them. I pay my employees 3 times over minimum wage. I pay for their health benefits, I pay for cell phone bill, and I pay for 13 months pay. You have to treat your contractors, your employees very, very well, because they're not going to leave you. They're not going to steal your information. They're not going to, go somewhere else to somebody that actually is going to be paying them well, because they're going to break their back for you. So I think that's the biggest common misconception, is paying a very small amount of money for a high caliber person who's going to work for you. Now, that's the other thing as well. Let's say that you're looking for a virtual assistant to just do admin, prospecting, social media management, accounting work, whatever it may be. Do you want to hire a $5 an hour virtual assistant to oversee your business? Or do you want it ran like you would run it? This is your business. The success and the failure of your company rides on you. So why would you not want the cream of the crop, the best of the best, to be doing exactly how you would be doing it? Quality is very important to us, which why you go to the VA group, you look at our reviews, you see our hundreds of testimonials, you'll see why quality is very important to our clients. So that's really what I want to talk about is $5 virtual assistants. Are they out there? Sure. You could, go through the hoops, spend all the time, trying to find this perfect one and hope that those things don't happen to you, that they're going to leave you, steal your information or whatever may happen, and go with a high quality company like ours that's going to give you that type of work, that type of virtual assistant that is going to offset your business. So don't go with the cheapest option. We always use this, and this will be my last thing that I say about it. This is our biggest analogy. If you have a leak in your house, are you going to call the cheapest plumber? Or are you going to make sure to call someone that's going to get it done right the first time?
Definitely the cheapest plumber, so I could call you the second time.
We'll take that too. And we get a lot of those clients too. Shane, you were right. I'm here. Where do I sign?
Yeah. Dude, it happens all the time. It's really funny because that's also a big thing in my industry, because coaches are they're everywhere. There's 10 trillion coaches out there, and a lot of them are desperate because most of them do not know how to make any money, and they don't know how to get by, or they're just not good enough, or whatever the case may be. But here's the thing. Every time somebody has any type of life experience, they want to become a life coach. Like, well, I did this, so now I could coach people to get through that too. And it's like, yes and no. Perhaps you can mentor them. I think mentoring is different than coaching. You might be able to mentor them and say how you did it, but I don't know if you should really be taking their money and telling them what to do, because it's a different feel and different obligation. And there's 10 trillion coaches because of that. It's an unregulated field. Anyone could be it. I think a lot of coaches suck. I think a lot of them are full of crap. A lot of them promise you the world and they don't deliver on anything. And I've even had coaches like that. I've had so many coaches that I've paid so much money to and got nothing from. In fact, I've had more coaches that I've paid a lot of money to and got nothing from than coaches I have paid that I've gotten anything from that was really good. And so it's actually kind of funny And then there's this other part of the industry where it's like a Ponzi scheme, where it's just coaches coaching coaches on how to coach coaches to coach coaches to get coaching clients. And it's like this never ending, like there's one guy at the top who figured out how to do this. And then there's other people that are just like, well, I don't actually have any coaching clients. I've never really got any coaching clients, but like I could coach you on how to get coaching clients because I'll teach you your superhero statement. I'll teach you your elevator pitch. And like realistically, sales, which is different. But yeah, I mean, it's just this whole industry of coaching coaches. You don't need to get coached on how to get coaching clients. You need to figure out how to provide value so you could get coaching clients. Anything that guy's going to tell you is probably full of crap.
The
And
funny
I've
thing
experienced
is
that a lot.
I
What's
actually
that?
I have a couple of clients that I'm not going to say names that are my clients that are specifically looking for help with that, for prospecting to coaches, because that's exactly their offer. I just had to bring that up. I thought that was funny.
I think it's funny too. I do. I think it's very funny. And anytime I talk to a coach so like I currently actually have one coaching client who is a coach that wants to really bring his coaching service like to a place where he can have a livable wage from it because he works full time right now, and like his thing is like I want to really do coaching full time. And my thing that I keep drilling into him is like go out, network. Like I built him the roadmap to how I've become successful. Instead of being like these other coaches that's like, oh yeah, we gotta get you set up on ads, we gotta get you this. Don't worry, we'll connect here. Just go do 100 podcasts. Like, because that's the crap that people are telling people out there. Like, oh, if you just go do 100 podcasts, do like a podcast a day, 2 days, every day, do a podcast. Yo, all of a sudden you got clients. It's like that's not true. I've done close to 200 podcasts. I'm not even talking about this one that you and I do.
We've
I
been doing
have
this.
done like, what is that?
We've been doing this for like 6 months.
Oh yeah, and I'm not talking about our podcast. I'm saying I've been on other people's podcasts, a lot of podcasts. I've been on close to 200 podcasts, other people's, and it doesn't really do much for you.
Yep.
I've paid for ads. That doesn't do much for you. And so you always have these people that say they have the solution, and guess what? The solution is always their service. For the coaches out there that might be listening, if you're a coach listening to this, stop spending your money on useless people. All you really have to do is learn how to provide value. If you're not getting coaching clients, the real truth is you either actually suck as a coach, unfortunately, but fortunately, because then you could get better by going and learn the actual skills in the trade, or you just don't know how to articulate how you could help people. So learn how to just provide value in that way. Listen to people's problems, see if you could solve it. And if you do that, you'll most likely get coaching clients. Honestly, that's all I've done.
I mean, there's more than what Vin's done too that I want to share. There's other ways of prospecting, and Vin gets invited to a lot of different marketing events, even that he doesn't have to pay for, and go to these dinners. And but that's a point when you get to a certain caliber, you get to go to these things, you go to these events, shake hands with different people, and it's like you've at that point you've made it where it's like now you can, they know who you are, so clients are a little bit easier. But
Yep.
what I'm getting at is it's not just hiring a coach and crossing your fingers, or doing advertisement and crossing your fingers like Vince's terrible stupid idea that I told him was a terrible stupid idea.
All
um,
right. Listen, I had a very decent looking gay man hit on me in my inboxes. And if I wasn't straight, I
okay,
might have gone for it. So I could have gotten something out of that.
let me add, there was some pros then. There were some pros for Vin out of this advertisement.
Was it
But
that guy?
what I'm getting at, if you are confident that you can help other people, and I'm not a coach, but I know all about prospecting, that's the name of the game. If you know how to prospect yourself, your services, which is just a numbers game, and every single industry is different. My industry is pretty heavily on ads and outreach, and testimonial proof. And, if I think that's really where the big win is here.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like it's very strategic. All the money, and this is what I tell people too, is like just invest in things that make sense. All the money that I was making from my coaching business, I was just putting into more things. Like I got a bunch of clients because I joined a really high-end MMA gym because I wanted high-end clients. And so when I started making money from charging people, like I think at the time I was charging like 100 and 150 a session, right? At that time, then I was like, okay, well, this MMA gym charges like $2,000 for 10 sessions. So if people are there and they're paying that, not only can I learn something I've been wanting to learn, but I could network. And I did. I wound up getting 3 clients. It not only paid for itself, but I made a massive profit from it. And so even that, it's like identify just where you want to go. And I think in the coaching industry, everyone's promoting, you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to do anything. You just have to spend a ton of money on ads, go really aggressive, spend $100 a day because you get the data faster, and then you'll get the coaching clients. And then when that doesn't work and you're a few $1,000s in the hole, they're like, oh, now we should change your strategy because it didn't work. And it's like, you only spent $3,000. So I think that's a good metric to let us know you're not getting anything from this. And it's like, bro. So I think the biggest myth in my industry is that every coach seemingly knows better than you. But here's the kicker. Most of the coaches that are probably making money and doing better than you are the ones that are actually just B2B. They're selling stuff to you, the coach. They're not selling anything to clients. They're not really helping people with their mindsets and actually creating transformation and change. So my question would be, just because they know how sales work, how do they know how to actually speak to that client specifically that needs the help that you're trying to provide? And what I've come to find is that they are very different things. You can know sales, but if you don't really understand what a coaching client is looking for, you still won't sell them. You just can't, because they need to be thoroughly convinced that your process is their answer to actually sign up with you if you're trying to sell to real clients. But if you're
Mhm.
just trying to sell to another coach and you're just like, oh yeah, dude, I could teach you how to create your little superhero statement and then elevate your pitch yourself and then, start doing outbound DMs and this and that. Like, what is that actually going to do for you if you can't provide value to anyone? Hate this industry sometimes. It's so stupid.
Well, that's why, you specifically are trying to be, that difference from everybody else, right? That Joe Schmo, that regular pitch. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure a couple of you, if you've experienced a coach or if you've been sold a coach, at some point you've heard about life coaches, business coaches. There's another coach out there.
Executive coach,
No, there was something else that I can't think of. Anyways,
mindset coach.
mindset coach. That's exactly what it was. Which I'm not going to
I
go into.
am a mental performance coach for any of you people who are wondering.
I'm not going to go into the mindset coaches that I've been talking to or that I used to talk to, but they are interesting people, just like Vin. I'm just kidding. What I'm getting at, I don't even know where I was getting at, to be honest. I'm kind of lost in the whole mental transition because of the conversation. I'll have to tell you at a different time the stories that I've had with mental coaches.
Shane's been coached so much he doesn't even know what he's getting coached on. And
Yeah, there's a lot of fake bad actors out there. I think that's just what I'm getting at. It's the same thing. Do your homework. I think referrals and testimonials go a long way, but more importantly, hop on a call, and if you have a good gut feeling, go for it. I always trust my gut, especially when you're an entrepreneur. You trust your gut. You go with your gut feeling.
oh, oh, what one of the biggest bullcrap things in my industry is?
Oh, we got
I
another one.
hate I hate this because I just realized this because it almost happened to me again. Is I say almost because I think I was telling you before the call, before the podcast, like I'm seeking an active mentor, right? So I was really looking, and then I saw this guy who I know and I respect and I like his stuff, and they were like, oh, I said, does he do a strategy session? Like, how do I know I want to work with him? And they're just like, his reputation precedes him, like he's the best, and blah blah blah. Here's what you could do. You do a down payment of $1,000. I was like, and then how do I get that $1,000 back if I don't want to work with him? And they go, well, yeah, you have the call, and if you really don't feel satisfied, we'll give you your money back. I'm like, okay, fine. But here's the thing: if you're basically saying I could have a free session, why don't you just give me a free session?
Right.
Like, I don't believe in the whole, and this is the things that I've heard multiple times, like, well, how are you going to be all in if you're not willing to invest in it? And it's like, because I don't even know if I want to. Why? Just because of the fact that, and this is what I've come to learn, people, just because somebody has a great social media or a quote unquote great reputation does not mean they're capable. It doesn't honestly mean crap. It just means they're good at building a brand. So I think that's something really important to recognize. You shouldn't just go pay somebody $10,000 so they know you're all in, only to realize you really don't want to work with them, because that's what I've come to learn, right? So
I'm on the devil's advocate here, real quick.
do
Okay.
it, please.
Yeah. So my services, we charge before you begin the onboarding. We have to. There's just no point. But I think the reason why is we've built social proof. We have trust and the testimonials and the reviews and other people's words saying that this is the company. They are the best. And this is before they even talk to a virtual assistant, before they even see anything that's being sent to them, because they talked to a sales rep and they were sold on what's going to happen. This is the thing. But we're not selling a guarantee. We're not doing anything like that.
But right there, they had a free call to assess if they wanted to do the service first,
Uh, Well, it's a sales call, but yeah.
which is a free call to assess if they wanted to do the service or not.
You're
They
trying
don't
to
have to
go
pay.
with the coaching aspect, but yes, we're telling them what we offer and that we charge up front and that
Right.
this is what you're going to get.
That's fine. But my advocacy or my reservation is around the fact that someone will say to even get the consultation, like they won't even hop on the call. And for coaching, it's very different. Getting a VA, like you're gonna get as soon as you sit there with the sales guy and the sales guy is like, listen, you're gonna get this, this, this. This is what your VA could do. This is what your needs of your business are. Cool. Like this is what that could,
Right.
what we could do. That's very different because especially in the coaching industry, if I'm saying, hey, I'm going to work with Shane, right? Shane's going to be my coach, but Shane doesn't actually get on the phone and I just deal with their sales guys and the sales guys like, yeah, no, you're not going to get to talk to Shane unless you pay $15,000. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm even going to like Shane.
See,
I don't
but
know if I want to.
I don't know. You're trying to make it work, but I honestly
Yeah,
think that's just a bad sales guy. Because imagine this, right? Let's go
sure.
on a
Tell me.
higher caliber. Let's
Sure.
just put it into perspective here. I work for Tony Robbins, the creme de la creme. You know Tony Robbins because of his social proof, because of what he
Yes.
does, because of everything that he's already done and given out. You know the name, right? He's got all that. If you just talked to me and said, I'm going to charge you $1 million right now before you even get a chance to talk to Tony, because I want to know if you're serious or not, it's different because he has social proof. He has the trust. The thing that you're talking about is that part that you're missing that they're not selling is the trust. That you don't believe it's going to work because I haven't talked to this guy. I don't know if there's a connection. So that means that they have terrible sales reps. That means that they're not selling this as they should properly. If you hired me and you wanted to do the same thing, Shane, I want you to collect a 297 setup fee before they even talk to me. And I said the same kind of nonsense here. It's like, hey, it's going to be refundable, but I'm going to sell everything that's positive about Vin. This is what Vin's done. This is what he's done for others. This is what he could do for you. Are you looking for something like this? Great. He charges 297 for this meeting. If you're not interested in what he has to say, it's refundable. It's sales. That's all it comes down to. You're talking to bad salespeople.
I guess I don't know because here's the way I look at it is this type of relationship is to your point very much built on trust and there should be a level of intimacy to it. Now, I understand what you're saying in terms of scale, right? If you're going to scale, you're going to have, like even me, if I want to scale, I'm going to eventually have to have sales guys. There's no
Exactly.
doubt about that. I think it's very difficult though as a coach, ultimately, because
Yeah, 100%.
to that point, you have to be able to have at least somewhat of a free call with the person, I believe. I listen.
That's my point, Vin. Welcome to my life now.
Yeah.
Or I have sales guys. I don't do that. I have sales guys sell it. I have
But you're
onboarding.
also
I have
but you're
HR.
but you're also not the person providing the service. And that's where I feel like there's a difference too. Because if you're expecting to work with me, like people aren't coming to the VA group to work with Shane. Shane ain't doing a damn thing.
But
It's the VA.
you're single minded about this. And the reason why I see what you're saying is true. I'm building the relationship, the coaching relationship with Vin. But you're right. If you were trying to grow, you had to teach your sales guys how to sell you. That's what
Yeah,
I'm getting at. That's
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 fair.
all you have to do. All you have to do is train a sales guys how to sell you. And the guys that you're talking to aren't selling that coach as they should be. Those are terrible reps. They should be fired immediately, and they should talk to me. And I'll teach them how to sell for $60,000. I'll teach them how to sell right now. But that's
That's
all it
fair.
comes down to. But that's how it is. If you want to grow a company, you don't want to do the work anymore. Figure it out.
All right, listen, you got a good point or two. I think the thing I will say is that ultimately it probably depends on what position you're in. You know, I also like to know, and this is just me personally because I've had a lot of experience, I suppose, with these people. So I want to know that the guy is going to be able to support me. Now, to your point, having the sales guy be able to replicate that, it's good. I guess being able to say that you're going to do some sort of a refund is also good. Um, but to that point, maybe this is what it should be, is that if you're looking to invest in a coach and he doesn't have a great reputation and he's still trying to pass you off to a sales guy, you probably shouldn't work with him at all. Like,
Yep.
let's be honest, I'm not wildly known. So if somebody's trying to reach out to me and I'm already trying to pass them off to a sales guy, I think that's probably lazy on my part. Because the reality is I'm not well known enough yet to be like, go talk to my assistant or go talk to my salesperson. I'm this massive person. I don't know. It just there's ways to do it, and I don't know. I think you have to be at a specific point to be able to really push that.
When I got to my level of delegation, when I hired my first rep, who is actually still with me today for the VA group, and I for some reason I can't duplicate this person. He's so good, and he's so good, and he's so bad, and he knows what I'm talking about this. Kyle, my sales director, is not the best salesman, but he is amazing with people. He's very witty. He's on top of it. He knows everything inside and out about the company, about virtual assistants, and that's why he sells himself as this trustworthy, witty, nice guy, and people buy from him all the time. But I think when you're ready, and where I'm getting at is when you're getting ready to get to a point where you're ready to let go of the reins and have somebody else take it over, you need to micromanage. You need to stay on top of me. Then do the whole process yourself, which you have been doing. Then you need to train that whole process. I think Vin, after this podcast, is ready to have a conversation with Shane on how to take him to the next level of coaching to do it right. I'll tell you my feedback for Vin.
We just got to dial in the marketing so I can get some leads for the poor sales guy.
I mean, we'll just combine it in with, I was going to say the washing machines, what? The dry cleaning. No, not the dry cleaning. What? I can't think of the name for some
I'm going
reason.
to let you struggle because this is good. This is fun for me.
What are those washers, dryers? That whole industry. I can't think of it. Laundromat. Jeez, oh, peas. Talk about a complete brain fart on here.
This is the mastermind behind the VA group.
Hey, it was a whole week since we talked about the laundromat, all right?
I know it can feel that way.
Yeah. Anyways, those are some of the bigger myths to, get off of this beaten path here. Do you have any other coaching myths that, you've come across? Is that coaches trying to teach coaches how to be coaches and get coaching clients?
Right. It's all about coaching coaches to coach coaches so that they can get coaching clients to coach.
How much wood could a
coaching
woodchuck
clients.
if a woodchuck go with?
How much coach could a coach coach if coach could coach coaches?
That's a good one. I like that.
I think the okay. There's one last one, and we'll end it here because there's probably nothing else. But that coaching is like the end all be all. There's a lot of people that say your past doesn't matter, the issues you've dealt with don't matter. It's all about just going to a coach and figuring out what's next. I highly disagree with that because a lot of the times the reason people get stuck and can't move forward in coaching is because of the fact that they're stuck on something from their past that you're not addressing. And this is something that pretty much ended a relationship with another coach because I have anyone who's listened to this podcast or has heard me talk at all about other coaches knows that I have a very strong bullshit meter and I can't stand a lot of these people. And I was talking to this guy who's a coach and he's like, yeah, I'm ICF credited. And I'm like, great. ICF is International Coaching Federation. As you heard me say earlier in this coaching podcast, or this podcast in general, is that there is no standard in the coaching industry. So because somebody decided to say, I am the ICF, does not mean a damn thing. Your ICF certification means dick to me, by the way. So I really don't care for them. But this guy was like, oh, I'm ICF accredited. And yeah, I said, so what do you do when a client's stuck? He's like, well, I learned in the ICF that sometimes it's just about sitting with the client. I'm like, how long do you sit with this client? I'm like, well, if it takes months, we'll just sit there. I'm like, so what progress do you make with them in months? He's like, well, it's not always about progress. Sometimes it's just about staying with the person when they're stuck. I'm like, okay, so what you're telling me is that even if you're making no progress, you're still going to take this person's money and just sit there with them? He's like, yeah. I was like, basically. So I said, okay, here's what actually should happen. You should say, hey, I'm sorry. I think we've reached the capacity of my expertise to help you on this matter. Perhaps you should look into X, Y, and Z resources that could probably support you here, because I'm realizing that our process is impeded or impacted right now by something I'm not qualified to handle. He didn't want to say that. He said, well, we'll agree to disagree, because that's what I've learned in my coaching cert. I'm like, oh, great. That's why your coaching cert is bullshit. Because if you're stuck with somebody and legitimately stuck, fire them. Or tell them you've reached the end of your journey, or tell them you're lacking the expertise, or go do some damn research on how to help them. But don't sit there and be like, that's a part of the journey. God, like, that's so freaking crappy. You're providing zero value. You're taking this person's money. And I don't care what your coaching certification told you, they're wrong. And I know that they're wrong, because people only get stuck when you, as the guide, are not able to guide them anymore. Period. Now, if it's that they don't want the support anymore, or they're hitting massive resistance, do one of two things. Tell them, I see that you're really not participating, because I've had these conversations with clients where I'm just like, hey, I feel like we're showing up and you're not really bringing anything anymore. Or like, is there something stopping you here? Or like, go into that. And then similarly, if something does come up and they're like, well, I'm hitting this thing and, you know, blah, 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 see if you can help them with that or refer them out to somebody that can. I think it's about keeping integrity in your work. Why would you sit there and just drain somebody of their resources because you think you're supposed to sit with them? So I think that's bullshit. I think that's absolutely bullshit in my industry, and any coach that's willing to do that is just looking for your paycheck or their paycheck.
And here's the crazy thing too. If let's just use an example. If you told me that this was out of your expertise and you referred me somebody else to help me with that current situation, not only would I be more likely to stay and help with other matters, or I'd refer you to other people. Like, yeah. Instead of just waiting until you finally say, okay, I'm done paying this guy, you know, I'm going to kind of just burn this bridge completely. Like, you're actually helping me. I think that's the big thing that people are missing here. So I admire that, which is another, you know, reason why I love you as a person.
Thanks, buddy. Well, I guess we'll call that a wrap on today's episode. So thank you for sticking around to listen to us talk about sausage and beef and debunking myths and calling out bullshit coaches.
Coaches being coaches.
No. It's how many coaches could a coach coach if a coach could coach coaches to coach?
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody, as always, you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell two friends, they tell two friends, and all of a sudden the whole world knows about us. We love your support. Thank you so much for listening. As always, any comments, questions? Have you ever been ripped off by a crappy coach? Would you rather eat a hot dog or some crappy pineapple ham pizza? And have you ever heard of the $5 VA? Those are my questions for you. If you have any experiences, dream big. If you have any experiences or answers to any of those, drop them in the comments. We love to see them. And until next time, I'm Vin.
And I'm Shane. See you guys.